and then you're not.
Good evening, everyone.
What's that?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Colette.
So just checking to see everyone's here. And it looks like they are. So
No, we're missing that. Paul Carney's not going to be. Paul Carney's not going to be at the meeting.
FAQs.
sorry. Is Paul here?
Yeah, Paul's not.
Right.
Paul's not going to be
attending.
here tonight.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
And I don't know, is Harry going to attend? I don't know. Is anybody here from Harry?
Yeah,
Yes.
he should be attending.
Yeah, he said he was gonna. He would see me tonight at the meeting. I talked to him this afternoon.
Thank you.
And there he is. All right, Harry, can you hear us?
Yeah, I was able to get on. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Evening.
It's 7:04. I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Basically, so Dropbox is basically a bunch of different,
Wait for Mike.
it's a bunch of different random challenges, but you don't know what they are. They'll never tell you.
Hey, Danelle,
Yes.
I keep on getting disconnected by phone. Like I got disconnected twice already.
I see
It's
you
just
on.
like, well, I'm on now, but I got disconnected twice. I mean, unless someone's trying to tell me something, you know?
You're connected through Andy, right?
No, I actually called in. I know. I look at Harry. It looks he has Andrew Pitzker's name on it, but I mean, I don't know why it was disconnected. I might get disconnected again.
I know why Harry's got my name on it, which you can change because I sent him the link, and then it disconnected me on volume for some reason. But so Harry, you can actually change that. But later
When
on.
Then I lost volume a couple of times, but it hasn't happened recently. Now, you know, for the last few minutes.
Yeah. Harry, if you go up to the right-hand corner to the three dots and you go down to the bottom there, it says rename, you'll be able to change the name on it.
Unless you don't know who you are, Harry. I know I'm in rare form tonight, right?
Let's start.
Is Harry talking? Because I can't hear him.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Well, you just got.
All right, Harry, if your audio is not working like mine was, disconnect and come back on.
Hey, Harry, can you hear us?
I'm going to. I had the same problem. How are you, Steve?
Let's see here. I'm good, Andy. How are you? Gotta make sure I'm muted. No, I'm not muted. You can hear me. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I think. So Mike, why are you calling me? Hi, Mike. Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the Zoom network. So try reconnecting again.
I can hear you now, Andrew. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
No, try reconnecting back in, Mike. It's much easier that way. Harry,
Yes.
if you would go up to the top right hand of your picture where you have the 3 dots, drop down the menu.
I see
And-
9 dots. I don't see 3.
All right, well, I have 3 dots on mine. If you drop down the menu, you can rename it so you're not me.
Okay.
Yeah, Danelle, I got disconnected again.
I'm sorry. I wish I don't.
Well, it's not you. I mean, it's like it's Zoom's fault. That's what it is. Let's blame it on the Zoom. The Zoom gods are like not with us tonight. I don't know if Harry's on.
Yeah,
Can
Harry's
he
on.
hear us? Kristen, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Dave McDermott.
Yep, good go.
And Harry's there.
Yeah, he is now muted, so let's see whether or not he changes the name. I was trying to give him instructions on how to do that. There he goes. Perfect. He's fixed that. Technical
Thank God
assistance.
for his daughter. His daughter saved him. Look at that,
Oh, we
Harry.
can't hear you, Harry. You gotta unmute yourself. There we go. I think we might be able to hear you now.
Say something, Harry. He can't hear
I don't
us.
think he can hear us.
Hey, Harris, say something.
Zoom is real fun tonight, guys.
Yep, he's gonna have to bounce in and bounce out. I had the same problem. I don't know why, but it seems to have cleaned up. You can see it's an audio issue because it's the lag.
Did you just get kicked off again?
What is that?
Harry, can you hear us? Oh, I've got a reverse video on my, I got to reverse the video. Jesus God. Interesting. This is a new problem I haven't seen before. Harry's calling. Yes, Harry. All right. All right. I can hear. Yeah, just try coming back in. Don't worry about changing the name. There's an issue with audio. I've had to reconnect twice so far. I can hear you. I don't know. Can the group hear you?
No,
Nope.
I'm going to take myself off a minute, see if I can.
Hey, can everybody hear me through Danelle's speakerphone? Speaker?
I can.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yeah, can you hear me clearly? Because we're gonna go with this because I, you know, they don't like me. I'm still here, my audio, my video, but I'm getting kicked off on my phone.
All right, I'm going to do the same thing for Harry then, and then I'll have to go off
I
this
think you do.
way.
Yeah, let him go through your speaker.
I heard you. I heard you diffuse it.
No, I'm going to put you through my cell phone, and we'll just do it that way, and I'll.
And then, yeah, do it that way.
Well, you can stay on because we can see you, and you can see the screen, and then I'm going to lift the volume up. And I'll put you on speaker for us. All right, can you check to see if that works for you? Harry?
Yes, I hear you.
All right, can you hear Harry?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Let me see what I can do here. I'm going to try to put it down, see if that'll work. Okay?
Look at that. That's how we do it. This is my years of me being in a band, by the way. You just figure it out on stage, and then go hope for the best. Right, Harry's smiling out there. That's good. All right, everybody, we're here now. Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the meeting of March 4th, 2021, the Vernon Township MUA. Statement of compliance pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this regular meeting has been provided to the public and press on January 20, 2021 by delivering to the press such notice and posting the same at the municipal building and file with the office of the township clerk. Salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the
Of
flag
the United States.
of the United States of America
And to the
And to the
republic
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with liberty
and
and
justice for all.
for all. Danelle, you want to go to the roll call members and professionals?
I think Colette was ready to do it.
Yes,
tonight.
I can do that.
Okay,
Michael Fury,
here.
Paul Carney is
He's
absent.
not attending. He said he's not attending tonight.
Andrew Pitsker,
Here,
Kristen Wheaton,
Present.
Dave McDermott,
Here,
Harry Shortway.
Present.
Thank you.
And then we also have Steve, our engineer. We have Rich, our attorney, and then myself, the administrator, and Colette, the recording secretary.
Okay, good. I entertain a motion to open meeting to the public for agenda items only.
motion to open to the public for agenda items only.
I'll make them.
Motion by Andy Pittsburgh, seconded by Dave McDermott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Danelle or Colette, is there anybody there from the public?
We do have one person.
I see Miss Jessie Palladini raising her hand.
Go ahead, Jesse. I don't know if you can.
Okay, I just want to say quickly, I don't know if it's an agenda item or not, but in the past, council members have called into meetings by phone, but I don't think what you're doing is the spirit of what Zoom is supposed to be. We can't see the chairman. We don't know technically that it's him. We can't see Kristen. We see a picture of Kristen, and we see somebody's spackled wall. You know, I think we should be able to see all of your faces. We should be able to see you talking. and who's saying what. I just think this is inappropriate. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I see nobody else raising their hands.
Is there any emails, chats, anything in the?
I have not received any emails or chats.
Colette, did you have the emails that were sent over for comments?
Oh, my apologies, yes. We did get 2 emails, one from Ms. Palladini and one from Mr. Mazur.
Are those on agenda items or for public comment?
They were regarding the,
I didn't send an email. Sorry, but I did not send an email.
They should be marked whether or not they should be part of the public session tonight.
Do you have something, Colette?
I have a question for Mr. Mazur for tonight's meeting regarding why does the Vernon Township MUA have members that also currently serve as town council members as well as paid contractor? He's stating this is clearly a conflict of interest regarding Mr. Shortway and Mr. Pitzker are advocates in support of purchasing the Baldwin Park property for trails or removing it from the town center. Further comments that Mr. Fury is not only the chairman of the MUA, he's also a paid contractor. And he's asking for an explanation.
Can you just state the date and the time that that was sent?
Yes, it was sent today, Thursday, March 4th at 6:45 p.m.
Hey, Rich,
so,
I want
Chair-
to defer to, hold on. I'm going to answer that question.
Okay.
Rich, if you're on the line, can you answer that question about a
Yes.
conflict of interest?
Yep, that's what I was trying to do. So as it relates to Councilman Shortway and Councilman Pitzker, it is absolutely 1,000% not a conflict, and it's not a conflict because the statute explicitly authorizes members of the governing body to also sit on the MUA. So 0 conflict. As it relates to the chair, it is also not a conflict because the chair is not doing work for the MUA. He is not engaged in any sewer work, to my knowledge, for the township or anything that would cause a conflict between his duties professionally and his duties as the chair of the MUA. And I've given this opinion before, and I will give it again for as long as these facts continue to be the case. So no conflicts.
Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Mr. Chair, I believe there was a chat message that was not the complete email. Should we, was the email read in total just there, or that was a summary of it? I guess
I
that's.
don't have the email in front of me.
I don't have the email either.
Colette received the email.
Yes, my apologies. I received the email at 6:26 p.m. tonight.
Was that the full email?
There were actually 2 separate emails regarding Ms. Palladini's Oprah request.
No, so the first email that you read from Sean.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It looks like it was a question about a map, the map. unless, if Mr. Mazur can, phone in and ask the question.
He is on the meeting right now.
Yeah, Mr. Mazur is asking about the,
I think it would be easier if you read the whole thing.
from Mr. Mazur, his full email is, why does Vernon Township MUA have members that are currently serving as township council members as well as a paid contractor?
But we already addressed that.
Correct, okay.
Was
So-
there another email?
Not from Mr. Mazur, no,
Okay,
All right.
and the other one was already confirmed. It's not for tonight, so.
correct.
All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting to the public.
I'm going to ask one question of Colette. Does that email have anything more on Mr. Mazur's email? He says a map question. Have you gone all the way through the bottom of that email?
Mr. Mazur is asking at the bottom of the email, in addition, how is it that the current and proposed existing sewer service maps reflect the Baldwin lot as well as the DPW lot as no longer being in the proposed expanded service area? The older maps included both these parcels when this was changed. Please provide the date and specifics on when these areas had been removed and why such action was taken.
I can answer that question. The Baldwin property was never in the sewer service area map. And it's not in the proposed map that we're sending down to the DEP that's being under consideration now. So it was never physically removed from any map, and it's not in the current sewer service area map. And if you want to see the sewer service area map, you can go online and on the Vernon Township MUA website, you can see the existing sewer service area map. You can see for yourself. If you want a copy of it, you want to see a copy of it, you can come into the Vernon Township MUA office and we'll show you the map.
We also, just to let you know, we do have the maps, the existing and the proposed on the website.
The existing and the proposed are on there?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, may I entertain a motion to close to the public?
Motion to close the public?
Second it.
Motion made by Andy Pitsker, seconded by David Durbin. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? No abstains? We'll move on to the next agenda item, approval of minutes. If you can help me out, Danelle.
Yes, yeah. And I spoke with Rich about this. So the February 4th reorganization meeting, Andrew was not sworn in yet until the second meeting in February. So what we need to do is we need to do like a bulk approval, like re-motion and approval for the resolutions that were highlighted on this. I don't know if Rich wanted to just make a quick comment so we could go through this.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So we're gonna do it as Danelle explained. Andy had not yet been sworn in, so we want to make sure the record is clear that action taken, particularly as it relates to the motions, and in particular as it relates to the motions on which Andy either motioned or was the second, which obviously you need both of those to bring it to a vote, that those motions are redone. So the easiest way of doing it, I believe were there 8?
Yes, it's resolutions 2107, 08, 09, 10, 12, 13, 15, and 16.
So the easiest way of doing it is to do it as a block group, so almost like a consent agenda. So Danelle just read off those resolutions. We would need a motion and then a second, and then a roll call to approve them en masse. And then we'll have cleaned up the record and made sure everything was done properly.
So you entertain a motion to do exactly what Rich said?
Motion to approve the resolutions that Danelle just read off.
Right.
I'll make
You
that
have to
motion.
read them off.
Well, it's at the right. She just read them off. Danelle, you have the titles? You want to read them by titles?
Sure. It's Resolution 2107, resolution designating the official newspaper for 2021. Resolution 2108, which is resolution authorizing the award of professional services contracts and advertising of same. Resolution 2109, resolution to appointment for professional services for the auditor. Resolution 2110, which is a resolution of appointment for professional services for the engineer. Resolution 2112, resolution to adopt the cash management plan for 2021. Resolution 2113, resolution establishing the authority to spend funds and sign checks. Resolution 2115, a resolution creating a fee for dishonored checks. And Resolution 21-16, resolution approving membership in the American Environmental Association. So we just need one motion and a second and then a vote.
So do I entertain a motion in a second?
I'll make that.
Second by Chris.
A motion by Dave McDermott, seconded by Kristen Wheaton. Is that true?
Yes.
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 You have to take a roll call?
Yes.
Colette.
Oh, I'm sorry. Michael Fury,
Yes.
Andrew Pitsker,
Same.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Harry Shortway.
Abstain.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then we'll need a motion to adopt the minutes with, do we do those changes, Rich? I should have asked you before this meeting. I apologize.
I didn't
They were
verify that the changes were done. So you want to hold off until the next meeting? Make sure we get it done right. We'll have it
Okay.
done for the meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay, so then we'll look at the 2/18 minutes.
All right, so approval of minutes from February 18, 2021. Everybody have a chance to review those minutes?
Yes.
Entertain a motion. Any questions about the minutes?
I have none.
Comments? Anyone? Entertain a motion to pass the minutes from February 18, 2021.
Motion to,
I'll second. Who made the motion? I couldn't hear it.
I motion to approve the meeting.
And then Harry seconded, correct?
Yeah, it says a motion by Andy Pittsburgh, seconded by Harry Shortway. You want to take a roll call? Or we just make it?
You can take a roll call.
Thank you. Michael Fury,
Yes.
Andrew Pitsker,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Harry Shortway.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. All right, so no resolutions at this time. Number 7, we'll go to number 8, subcommittee reports. We'll go to pump station 2, transfer station subcommittee. Or I guess we'll probably best to just turn it over to Steve Benoski. You can give us an update on the pump station.
Sure. So there still hasn't been a great amount of progress, I would say. We had a meeting last week with Joe and what's the other name, Donnell? Joe and
Scott.
from Mountain Creek. We're still trying to engage. Dave Bauer from Wind River. Unfortunately, either myself, Donnell, and now the two of them have had no luck making any communications with him. So that is kind of putting us in a spot where we don't know if we should proceed with a design that may or may not be to their liking. So we're kind of in a little bit of a pickle there on what to do. And then as far as DEP goes, we were in communications with DEP, who originally said that the transfer station was not viable. We're waiting to hear back from them also for the treatment works at the sanitary sewer folks. So unfortunately, there hasn't been
I
much
got a
progress
question
in the last
about,
2 weeks.
is it absolutely necessary, Steve, that we have Dave Bauer's input? Like, can we just proceed with the design? Well, obviously, we got to check with the DEP. I think that's more important. We get their feedback. I know there was a question whether there's any kind of regulations against building the transfer station.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know typically transfer stations are located at treatment facilities. This is unusual that it's at a pump station. But
Correct.
is there any kind of regulations that prohibit a transfer station at a pump station? And if they do exist, that's what you need to ask the DEP, if there's regulations that exist.
Correct. Not expressly, no. And that is kind of what I'm trying to get to with them. So yes, I am trying to do that. And as far as waiting on Dave, the ideal thing would be to get him on board with this, to make sure everything that's being done, works for what he wants as one of the perhaps primary customers, if you will. But at the same time, and I guess there's 2 parts to that. There is the kind of business part of that, and then there's kind of like the more technical part of that. And for the more technical part of it, obviously we can't wait forever if he's not going to communicate with us for some reason. And I guess we do have to proceed, but there's also kind of the business side of it that's tied together.
Let me ask you this, Steve. Can you plow ahead with the design of a pump station and then I'm not saying retrofit the transfer station into it, but to kind of like plow ahead with that pump station, trying to laying it out where you're going to have a possible transfer station, and then just plow ahead with it with a treatment works approval permit.
Yeah, it can be treated.
Let me back up. Let me back up. Like, did you check with the DEP that we have to get a permit? So we have to get a permit. That's that, right?
Correct.
All right. So can you plow ahead and do a design of a pump station, and trying to keep in mind that we may want to put a transfer station just to get the permit process in the works, so we can, because I do know getting a permit in is connected to the funding and moving that process along. So if you don't put a treatment works approval permit in there, you can't get the funding.
Yep. Yeah, so we can certainly treat it as kind of 2 separate things, like you're saying, Mike, and proceed with the pump station part of it, and have the transfer station part of it as kind of a separate proceeding. Yeah, we can do that.
The other thing I might recommend, I mean, there's other hauling companies. There's Capola. There's there's one down in, I forget the other one. There's a few hauling companies. Maybe consider contacting one of them and getting feedback from them. I mean, I know Earth Care is local, and I understand that, but if they're not willing to respond, then maybe we need some feedback from other possible vendors. Maybe you might consider that.
Okay.
There's a few out there. I mean, there's Accurate Waste. They're out of, I don't know where they're, I think a Pack-On or something. And then there's Capola. They're haulers too. Just maybe contact somebody else to. I don't think it's necessary to have Dave Bauer involved. Why he has to be involved. It's designing a transfer station. You're connecting it to a big tanker, and then you're dumping into a tank and pumping it downstream. So, and from the DEP side, unless they, this is how I feel about it, is if they have regulations that clearly state that you can't do it, then we have to see those regulations. If there's no regulations, just because they don't like it or it's unusual doesn't mean that it's not possible. And I don't think we should, basically don't take no for an answer.
Correct. Okay.
Mike,
I
just
just-
a question here regarding this. Should we have a dialogue with Joe Hessian and explain to him that we have not heard from Dave at all?
Yeah, we did have that discussion.
We did.
And I did reach out again to Scott today, to follow up, because they said they were gonna reach out to Dave again.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird now, it's flipped. It was before that he would only answer me, and now he's not answering me, he's only answering them, so I don't really know what's going on.
Okay.
Does he work for Earth Care? Maybe he doesn't even work there anymore.
He's still on their website.
Yeah.
Are you talking, have you tried, are you trying to reach him by voice or by email?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. So like when they answer the phone, they're not saying like, oh, he's not here, or, oh, you should talk to somebody else.
I have his direct phone number, and I left voicemail for him. He doesn't respond. And I left a voicemail for him, and then I asked Scott to call last time, and Scott got a hold of him right away. You know, I sent out an email invite for our meeting that we had last week. He replied back that he couldn't attend. I literally, as soon as he wrote back, I responded right away to him, and he didn't respond back. So I just, you know, I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah, and by the way, they're owned by Wind River now, and
Yeah.
and I've, you know, my experience with Wind River is, you know, that that's a big corporation, and you're just going to go into the, you know, that's a huge corporation, right? You know this, right, Steve? I don't know if you ever had any dealings with them.
Yes, yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very big. They're not small anymore, so they sold it to Wind River, and that might
Right.
be a hindrance.
Yep.
So I'd like to, you know, I guess the direction is again, check with the DEP, and I read your email, Steve. They're very difficult to get a hold of. You know.
Oh yeah, they basically
and,
say don't call. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. By the way, Carrie Plug, you know.
Okay.
And I have her contact number. She's very receptive, and if you call her, if you can't get good answers, then she's the one that she's like a director of government affairs, and she's there to kind of shepherd it through the process.
Okay. Yep. I have her information. Okay.
Yeah, I would call her, and she's really, really good. I mean, I have good experience with her. She's very helpful, and if you say to her, listen, and I do know, by the way, because I deal with the DEP, they're under a huge reorganization going on, and that's the reason why everything is slow to a crawl, and the entire DEP is being reorganized. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, they all work from home too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, and like it wasn't difficult enough before, right?
Yeah, right. It was hard before. Now it's going to be an incredible challenge, and I feel your pain, Steve. I do. I really do.
Yep. No, we'll get there, but we were hoping that some of these things would fall in line a little quicker and easier than they have, but we'll get there.
Well, thank you very much, Steve, on that. Any questions about the pump station from anybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kristen.
I just, I stress that we don't want to go too far in the direction of the transfer station without an understanding of whether it's going to be permitted use as an SIU.
Yep. So yeah, so I have been in communication with the folks from the water quality unit, I guess you could call it, at DEP. And you know, I agree, Kristen, that we should, and because and like we said before, their original communications were negative towards this. So I agree that we should make sure they're on board with what, you know, at least in generally speaking, maybe there's technical things to be worked out, but at least generally speaking, they're on board with what's going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to design for a transfer station with, you know, unless we know that it's going to be permitted.
Yep. I've been in, yep. Okay. Thank you.
Are we proceeding with the design in any way right now?
No, not in much detail. No.
Okay.
And what about pump station 2? Are we moving along with that?
We have not. We've been trying to, move those together as one unit, but they can be separated.
Yeah, I think at this point that they need to be separated.
Okay.
And I agree with Kristen. Until we get it, like a definitive answer. And by the way, to follow up on that, I would like a letter to the DEP with a specific question saying, about the transfer station, and then request from the DEP in writing back that, state the regulation, an objection or whatever, whatever it is, but something back in writing. And I agree with Kristen. We need that answer sooner rather than later, so we can proceed with the design of the pump station, because we can't delay the design of the pump station just because we want to put a transfer station in there. And I do agree with Chris that she's right. Until we get a clear answer from the DEP, this has to be documented. And I'll warn everybody about documenting to the DEP. I feel very strongly about this. This needs to be documented to the DEP, and we want an answer back. And if you don't get answers back, then what makes it difficult is to go up the ranks and to complain about them. If you don't have it in writing, and without an answer, then they're not going to listen to you. So I'm asking to document it to them, and not in an email, an official, on DT MUA letterhead, saying this is what we want, and we want an answer. And then put in writing what date we want an answer by. And if you don't do that, you'll never get anywhere with the DEP.
Okay, I can work with Donnell on that.
And then does it make sense to be calling other hauling companies like, Coppola or others before we have that sort of information?
Yeah, I agree.
So no, we'll hold off.
No, I agree with you, Chris. It's probably not good. Like, you want to get the answer from the DEP before you reach out to these hauling companies.
Yeah.
It's putting the cart before the horse.
Right. Okay. Just want to make sure that we're not giving.
No, I agree. I totally agree with that.
Okay.
Like, we need a definitive answer before we move on. But like, at the same time, the co-path is, designing the pump station, because you have to design the pump station because, the pump station has some issues, and it's gonna, and you're gonna have a failure, and now you're gonna have a pump station that doesn't pump. And we don't want to be in that position.
I know we want to be moving forward, this was supposed to be done a while ago, right? So.
Yeah, right.
Does it make sense to, like, what do we think is a realistic decision point?
I think that the realistic decision is to design the pump station without the transfer station, and then until we get an answer on the transfer station, and then you're going to have to keep, they're going to have to look at the engineering design and kind of, maybe possibly putting for the design the possibility of putting a transfer station until we get an answer. But you can't hold up the pump station because you have money. You have money tied. You have funding tied to that pump station, and you don't want to wait too long. And then other entities are going to be grabbing that money, and then you won't have the money, and then you'll be like, wow, we don't have the money, and that's not a good thing. We want to go after that money.
But that's it's gonna be a little bit of a different design, though, isn't it? That, I mean, if we're uncertain still and we proceed with the design, then we're gonna want to have, like, contingencies, like, in case we can do the transfer station, we would want to have, an extra pump, or make sure that we have room for such and such.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that, or we can do that.
Yeah,
I mean, you're right, Chris. You have to be extremely creative here because of the utter lack of cooperation from the DEP. It's really appalling what's going on down there. I don't even know what to say.
Okay, but
what
I'm getting at is just not putting too much effort on our part into that. It should be some very basic things, but let's not go too far in terms of, contingency planning or contingency design. It should be purpose built with with space for modification. That's kind of, kind of it, I think, in my mind.
Yeah,
So
and we,
that we're not spending too much, so that we're not spending excess money on the design.
I
yeah,
agree.
I think, yeah, that's very feasible.
Thanks, Chris. It's a great point.
Thank you. That's it.
Anybody else, Andy or Dave or Harry?
I guess on my point is looking at this is that pump station 2 is the critical element that needs to be taken care of. The transfer station is something that we wanted to bring together with this, and if we can plan for that, that's great, but we need to continue to move forward with pump station 2 because of its, age. It needs to get done. And if we can plan for the contingencies, that's fine, but I'm really concerned with the age of this station and what we need done. I don't know, Steve, what's your opinion here?
I think that's a good way to proceed at this point. Proceed with the pump station, and that can happen, relatively speaking, relatively quickly, as far as the design and getting that ready for permitting and whatnot. And as Kristen, and I was discussing, building the contingencies there to be able to accommodate the transfer when and if that comes to fruition.
That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents because
Yes, that existing pump station, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I don't think some days.
Exactly. Very concerning.
Yeah, it is very concerning.
So
Anybody else?
do we want to wait or not? I mean, if we write a letter to DEP, it's going to take it 2 weeks to find the right person. And then we would want an answer within like 30 days, I would think would be maybe a reasonable request. But so
Yeah.
that means
And then Chris, the question was just specifically about the transfer station. We're not doing anything. We're not asking about the design of the pump station. We're going to, at the same time, concurrently, we'll design the pump station. That's just to get an answer on the transfer station.
Okay. So you want to? So what you're saying is let's go. Let's
Yeah, let's design the pump station and not delay that, because you got to get the design in, because that design document's going to go to the I-Bank, the funding, and that's what they're waiting for in order to start the funding process. Because you cannot get any money until you get, an approved permit. Am I right about that, Steve?
Correct.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think we should move on and proceed.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Do we need a vote on that or anything, or?
No, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary unless you want to take a vote. If you want to take up a poll, is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to vote on you want to proceed in that direction so we have a definitive answer, or do we have to, Rich?
No, you don't have to. I mean, unless there's any objections from any of the board members, I think Steve knows, or has his marching orders and understands what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. So Harry or Dave, there's no objection, right?
No, not at all.
Unless Harry can hear us. All right.
No, I can hear you. No objection.
So you're good? All right, thanks. So next on the agenda is
Sewer Service Area Subcommittee.
sewer service area. I can report back that what I did was I contacted Carrie Plug and spoke to her about Paul DeMuro and the lack of response. And she said she was going to check into it. And I know, Steve, that you spoke to Paul DeMuro. I don't know if you have an update on it.
Yeah, so we had a relatively long talk with Paul, maybe last Thursday it was. And essentially, this may be, things that you've heard before. I'm not sure, maybe it's not. But, there's obviously a number of properties which are coming out of the proposed sewer service area, a number of existing properties coming out of the proposed sewer service area. primarily because they're in the environmentally sensitive areas. And Paul isn't so quick to allow any of those properties back into the sewer service area, despite what direction may have been provided in the past. There's probably a number of properties that could be brought back into the sewer service area with some relatively simple negotiations, I would say. But at least half, maybe more of the properties, he wants a habitat suitability determination to determine if, basically, say for example, if the properties in the environmentally sensitive area, because it's bobcat habitat, so the habitat suitability determination would determine if it really is bobcat territory or not, essentially. So some of the properties he's willing to let back in relatively easy due to obvious, there's probably a number of them that have obvious reasons why it's acceptable to bring back in, but at least half of them, he wants this HSD to be done. And I think, I think that varies from direction provided by others in the past. But, he will not provide any leeway to that. Perhaps a supervisor could, but he will not.
I actually I spoke with his manager and supervisor today, Gabriel Mann.
Mahone, yeah.
Yeah, Mahone. He mirrored exactly what Paul discussed with you, Steve. I honestly feel like we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place on this. He did say, they are willing to adjust properties that have approved plans. So possibly, the two homes that we'll have a discussion about tomorrow, like on Alpine and Snowshoe, if there were more of those properties, they'd be willing to discuss that. I did bring up the fact, like, okay, so you can have two homes right next to each other connected, and then the next one won't be connected because you were saying it's outside, and he's like, that's just the way it is. The other choice, like you said, is having the habitat study done. And he did say that could literally take years because depending on the type of animal it is, he did say that a lot of the areas are not only bobcat, but they're owl. And in order to do a study on owls, like an owl study for habitat, you have to have studies on their nesting sites, which are only available during certain times of the year. That also means that when we have our study, they have to go and review that study and go to the actual site locations as well. So it could literally drag on for years.
And we're not interested in that.
No. So it literally seems that our only choice right now is to pull those, and with the exception of a few that they are willing to say, if a piece of property is 90% outside of that ESA, they're willing to, soften those edges on those lines. Or if a piece of property has an existing structure on it, they're willing to, carve out that structure and say that, that's permitted to be connected to the sewer or remain in the existing sewer service area. But that's about it. The other choice is to remove them.
So Steve, in your opinion, should we just, do what they want to do, the DEP, and then, I guess the other question is, do you have to give them an updated map? Like what has to be given to them? Do they have everything they need to approve the map?
Yeah. So I believe do they have everything? I mean, no, they don't quite have everything they need. They would just want a updated GIS shape file, which isn't too big, which isn't really which isn't too much of an effort, or we're talking hours worth of work, not like days or weeks worth of work, right? But the process and the first, like the easy part that should be done before that is, as Donnell was saying, any property with a approved site plan, any property with a treatment works approval, any property with that we would want that's partially encumbered by an ESA that we would want what they call rounded, I believe, to get it out of the ESA. Someone should work with Paul to come up with the properties which meet that criteria, which may be a dozen properties, I don't know, first, and have him agree to that, and then probably just move forward at that point.
Yeah. I mean, this is my opinion. We just work with Paul, give them what they want, you know, have them, and then say, when are we going to get it? When's the date we're going to get approved? And we got to get the map, the sewer service area map, unless anybody has an objection to that. But like, we're going back and forth and not getting anywhere, and we need to get the sewer service area map approved. So I have no objection to just doing what the DEP wants and conceding to what they want and get the map approved. Does anybody have any objection to that?
I think it's a reality, Mike, is that basically, you know, if we want to expand the sewer, you know, the services we have and bring on more users, we're basically where we're at today. We're not going to get any further with them. And if we're going to have any movement to try to, you know, expand the number of users on this system, we've got to stop here, take what we can get and move forward. Because otherwise the funds are going to dry up. We won't be able to expand, and these costs are just going to continue to grow out of control.
I agree, Andy. I'm in agreement with Andy. Is anybody else have any comments about that or objections to conceding or just move ahead? Anybody?
No, we can't continue to spin our wheels like we are.
Yeah.
There won't be any left for us to get when we get there.
Right. So I like Steve, and you know, let's focus on getting Paul Demure and lock him down into giving us an answer. And again, if you have any issues, you could speak to Kerry Plug, which I already spoke to her, and I'm sure she's.
Yeah, Kristen, do you have any thoughts on this?
Kristen, she's muted.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think you put it very well, Andy. So I'm in agreement with what you're proposing.
Okay. Harry, any thoughts or comments?
No, you got to go forward. I mean, they've been dealing with this since probably about 2014, 2015 about expanding the sewer service area, and we should just go with what they'll give us.
Yeah. Our hands are locked.
Yep. All right. Is everybody agreeing with that?
Yes.
All right, good. Yeah, so Steve, you can follow up with Paul. Again, don't take no for an answer.
Okay.
All right, we're going down to solid waste stormwater subcommittee. I know Harry and Kristen were on that subcommittee. Any update you want to talk about? How you feel about that? I know we gave you some information.
I'm sorry, I have no update on those items. I don't know about Harry, but yeah, I don't have an update.
Harry?
I don't have anything at this time.
All right, good. All right, bylaws personnel subcommittee. Any update?
I have no updates, Dave.
No, I don't.
No.
Good. Water supply subcommittee. Any updates about that? I guess, you know, there on the water supply subcommittee, we do want to talk to Suez. Danelle, is there any updates on any discussions with Suez?
No, again, I emailed Corey and I haven't heard back. I don't know if Corey has tried to reach out, but I have not heard back. And I did reach out. I did mention something to the township to see if, you know, because it's something that we should start moving on, and hasn't gone anywhere.
Can you reach out directly to, what's the engineer's name? I forgot his name.
I know who you're talking about. Yes, I will. Yes.
Tony.
Yes, Tony. Yes, Vincente. Yes, yeah.
Tony Vincente, who knows us quite well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, reach out to him, and then, you know, possibly if we can kind of set up a meeting and a quick meeting and try to move things forward. Let's do that.
Okay.
So finance subcommittee, anybody, Andy and myself, I don't think there's really anything on that.
No, I mean, other than making sure that when we get pump station 2 moving, we get our act together, that we have our applications done. And then, Danelle, the budget's been posted on the into the internet now?
It should be, yes.
Okay, good. So
I did email it over.
2021 budget's posted for the public to see. Good.
And the auditor was in this past week, so hopefully that'll be finished up soon. They came in early this year.
Perfect.
Yeah, the other thing, Steve, I just, correct me if I'm wrong about the IBANK. So you have to put a permit application, and before you proceed with, like, it has to be approved, and then you could proceed with the financing, right?
I believe that's correct, yes.
So that's why it's so important on the finance side to get the permit application, or the design and the permit application started and approved, which may take forever.
Quicker than some other things, I think, but
Yeah, we're gonna be hopeful, right, Steve? I'm gonna be positive. I'm sorry.
something's got to go well, right?
Yeah, I gotta turn that frown upside down, right? All right. Danelle, you want to go with the administrator update, or I don't see, is Howie on
Yeah,
here?
Howie's on. Colette, can you allow, he's on the attendees side. Can you allow Howie to speak?
Sure. Yep.
Are you there?
Yep, he's unmuted. Howie, you can speak now.
No, he's not. He's actually muted.
He's got to unmute himself.
Yeah, he has to unmute.
Sorry.
How are you muted yourself again?
That was a good introduction, too. Oh, there he is. Howie, go ahead.
Are you there?
Yep.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, it's been quiet on the last since the last meeting.
You have nothing to report?
No.
I did give them your operator report, Howie, so they do have about the generator servicing and all that other stuff.
Yeah, and then the scheduling for pesticides for the rats, and then got to reach out to Jim to schedule a site visit to all the lift stations for the wiring to make sure everything's set up the same. So there is no more issues with a wire or a cross wire.
Oh, that was all corrected?
Yes,
He's scheduling it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was corrected, but yes, I am scheduling it.
Howie, where are we with the sub panels for the lift stations here being upgraded?
That was on the list of we are ordering, and Jim advised to order one to make sure that it will work and then goes as planned.
What's the time schedule for that to be put in?
The next few days, we have we pulled all the quotes for everything that we're ordering from Blue Book. There's a couple of things, so we're just going to put them all in at once.
Okay.
Yeah, Howie, do you have an update on the Muffin Monster at pump station number 3?
No, Danelle probably.
It was shipped. It was shipped, so we're just waiting for it to get here.
So it hasn't arrived yet, the Muffin Monster?
Correct.
How are you doing with that pump station without the Muffin Monster? Do you see any issues?
No, it's messy, and they've cleaned it every day, or try to upkeep it every day. You know, not every day, but when they're there.
Right.
Matt customized a screen to try to help it a little bit.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, to try to get some of the rags to stop flowing down.
So they're being creative.
Yes, he was.
That's a good thing.
Tell them we appreciate that.
Yeah, tell me we appreciate that. Give them some feedback. We appreciate that.
To let you know too, the backup licensed operator, I will be getting out his most recent report to you guys. I did not forward them because I had to have them sent to my private email account because they won't come through to the towns. So I'll get that out to you guys tomorrow, but I know Howie's been working with the guys about addressing the issues that were brought up by the backup operator. So that's getting taken care of as well.
Yeah, Howie, did you see that report from Chris?
Yes.
So there was, I didn't read them all because it just came in. One of the pump stations, there was a few issues, but I'm not sure which one it was.
Well, there was 2 and 3. 2 has been addressed. They did that yesterday. 3 will be 3 for most part. You know, obviously not the Muffin Monster that he reported because we don't have it.
Obviously.
But the mess that they left behind.
So that was addressed.
Yes, for the most part, yes.
All right,
And
good.
then there's site cleanups, like inside the building. They straightened that up a little bit, as much as they could.
Okay, good. So in general, it's helpful with him doing what he's doing, right?
Well, yes.
Good.
I mean, some of the stuff.
Go ahead, Howard, I'm sorry.
Some of the stuff like the building at 3, we know that needs to get fixed or, you know, upkeep. Well, we've known that for years since we took over. I mean, me and Jack did fix some of the things that needed to get fixed for Pump Station 3 on the inside. The outside, not so much.
Right. Okay, good. All right. Thanks, Howie. Any questions for Howie? Anybody?
No?
No? All right, thanks a lot, Howie. Appreciate it.
Yeah, just to know that Muffin Monster is going to be shipped over to the DPW.
Yes.
Okay.
What, that Muffin Monster, I'm going to go back to that. When is there an expected date when it's supposed to come in, or do you know that?
She sent me an email, I think a week and a half ago, saying it was shipped. I did ask if it was going to, if they had a timeline, and she did not reply, so I will follow up with her.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised at all. Things are back ordered.
Yeah.
Things are hard. Parts are hard to get, Howie, and you got to keep that in mind. By the way, just as a side note, Howie, you need to think about this. Since parts are very hard to come by, you should probably start looking into all the pump stations and get backup supplies, and just in case that happens, because you can't, you can't be caught off guard, and you want to have backup supplies for everything. So I know you know that already, but
Yes. Yeah. We got a backup. You know, how many backup pumps do you keep? We have.
No. I know. Just keep that in mind, because parts are hard to come by. And they're not being put on shelves, and that's why they're hard. They take, the lead times are 4 to 6 weeks, and that's not what you want to be. You don't want to be in a situation where you can't, you're gonna have an overflow or sacrifice something like that. So you understand that.
Yes.
All right, good. Anything else for Howie? Any other questions for Howie?
Can I make a simple request?
Go ahead there, Andy.
At the next meeting, could we have an update on the project list and the status of the items that are on that list?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so everybody got that list. That was sent out to everybody. It was, you have it in order. There's a project list. And thanks, Andy. And so Howie, next time, just look through that list, and then when you come for the next meeting, let's give us an update on that list. I think it's a good. Thanks for Andy for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Howie.
Yes. Thank you.
Danelle.
Yeah. So Black Creek came in late this afternoon, and paid the township for taxes and sewer fees. They've not been applied yet because we only just got the check, but they will be applied tomorrow. Acme also is now paid in full for their MUA fees for last year. I know Steve, I don't know if he wanted to comment, but he was checking into the vacancies at that plaza, so we can report back to the board.
Yeah, so, they submitted the letter from the engineer, or the little analysis from their engineer, I don't know, probably 6 weeks ago now, over a month ago. We are trying to coordinate with the property manager to go over there and verify the vacant unit. So, if you guys choose to use that as a determination on any adjustments, that could be verified. And he didn't get back to us with a schedule. We'll follow up because he wanted to do that quickly, but then we didn't hear back from him.
Oh, well, that's good that they paid up. And then I wanted to ask that same question because I saw an email that you're going to meet with him. And now that he's paid up, I'm perfectly fine with, I mean, this is my perspective. I don't know if everybody else agrees that I have no issue with looking at the vacancies and adjusting his bill accordingly. I think that's a good faith effort on our part. Does anybody have an objection to Steve doing that?
I don't.
No.
Anybody?
No objection.
Steve,
No,
question.
so, yeah,
I-
so reach out, Steve, to him. Go ahead, Andy, sorry.
Sorry, real quick question, Steve. When you go there to do this, are you going to do a full-fledged audit?
We were not planning to, no.
Okay,
Like as far as tables and measure, and no.
okay.
Employee, no.
No.
All right, good, Steve, so if you could do that and report back at the next meeting, that'd be great.
I
Janelle?
also had both of our sewer repairers set up for emails directly to their cell phones. They were not originally set up. So now we can at least have direct communication with them if there's any issues where we can't get, because Howie works during the day. So if there's any issues where I can't get in touch with Howie right away, we'll be able to email them directly if we can't get them on their cell phones. Also, I'm following up with Green Realty tomorrow about coming in to get their permits applied for so that they can hook up. They did say that they were going to hook up in the spring, and spring is right around the corner. So I'd like to make sure that they're going to get their permits done so that they can hook up as soon as they can dig. Steve and I will be having a meeting with that developer for the 2 homes on Alpine and Snowshoe. I think that they've started to put in applications, or are going to put applications with land use. So we kind of want to discuss with them how to proceed on that. That'll be tomorrow morning. I already spoke about the DEP today. And then my project right now is working on new risk management company. So in the past, for years, the MUA has used Skyland's risk management. We're looking at new risk managers. I've interviewed 2 of them. I forwarded my notes to all of you regarding those 2 interviews. And then I have another one on Tuesday. The 2 risk managers I've met with both recommended that we still stay with statewide because the asset belongs to the township, and the township currently is insured through the statewide joint insurance fund. So those were both of their recommendations, actually. But they did both say that it is the job of the risk manager every few years to look at the other joint insurance funds that are around and give their best recommendation. Again, the joint insurance funds are probably the best way to go just because of the liability. But I do have a phone call. I got a call today from a private broker. So I'll be speaking with him tomorrow about hopefully getting a quote just, to have for reference compared to what we pay for statewide. And that's it right now.
So in my opinion, Danelle, we'll try to wrap that up and make it. I have no problem with you making a decision on who you want to use. Mm-hmm. Unless it has to be voted on. Does it have to be voted on?
Well, we will do a resolution appointing a risk manager. So you do have to do that resolution to appoint the risk manager.
All right.
But, I can give my recommendations to you guys and we can go from there.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Danelle?
No.
No.
All right, great. Next on the agenda, we want to make a motion to open to the public for items not on the agenda. Is there a motion to open to the public?
I'll make.
Public.
Second that.
So motion by Dave McDermott, seconded by Andy Pitzker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Aye.
Anybody want to speak from the public?
I have Ms. Palladini who wishes to speak.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Hello again. I just want to quickly say I'm confused about something because tonight you were talking about Paul DeMuro and Bobcats again. And at the last council meeting, you, Mike, and Andy Pitsker mentioned that Paul DeMuro said that nothing could be built on Baldwin because of Bobcats. Excuse me. And Andy went so far as to say, contact Paul DeMuro of the DEP and ask him. So several of us did contact him, and we did ask him. And he responded to us right away in writing that he never said any such thing. He said he never said the property cannot be developed. He never said that it was a Bobcat crossing. He never said anything with regard to Bobcats and that property. So that's very confusing, but I don't want to dwell on that because we just did what you told us to do, and we immediately got a response from him. Earlier tonight, Sean Mazur asked about the Baldwin property and when was it removed, or was it removed from the sewer service area? And your response to him was that it was never in it and it's not in the proposed expansion. Yet I have a map dated 2017 that was sent to the DEP, and the Baldwin property is clearly in it. And if you wanted me to share my screen and show you, I'd be happy to do so.
Yeah, I can answer that, Jesse. Most likely that map you were given may have been a map that was possibly being proposed at that time. And if you got a map, when was the last date? What's the year the last sewer service area map was approved in? Now, was it 2015?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so 2015 is the last official map, which, you know, if you go to our website, that existing sewer service area map is the 2015 map. Now, you may have received some kind of map that was updated by an engineer that possibly during 2017, I wasn't on the MUA at the time, that may have been being considered for the next sewer service area map approval.
Okay,
now I know the last. Just let me finish. The last one is from 2015. That's the existing map as per the DEP. So what is being proposed now is the new map, which we are asking the DEP to approve. That map, both those maps, the existing map and the proposed map, are on the website, and those are the two maps that are one that's existing and one that's being considered.
Right.
Does that answer your question about 2017? You may have been given a map that may have been, talked about, amongst the MUA.
No, it really doesn't answer my question. I could understand the part that now there are maps on the website in which it's not in there. But the question was, why was it taken off? And the answer was, it was never on and it was never proposed. Don't forget that I was the recording secretary for the MUA for almost 9 years. The map that I have is the map that I was given as the map that was sent to the DEP for the expansion. So it's not some vague, elusive map and who drew it and where did it come from and where did it go. I have the official map that was sent to the DEP. So I can understand everything you're saying now, but that still doesn't answer the question, when was it removed? Because it was clearly on the map before. The Baldwin property.
That's not true, Jesse. It's not on the existing map. If you look at our website, on the existing 2015 map, the Baldwin property is not in the sewer service area. it was never proposed to be in the sewer service area. Maybe it was in 2017, but it's not being proposed as our current proposal down to the DEP.
We get it, Mike. We get it. We get that. You don't have to keep saying it. We get it that it's not proposed now. What I'm saying to you is that I'm holding in my hand Vernon Township Municipal Utilities Authority sewer service areas. Baldwin is on it. Rich Wenner knows that this was the official map that I was given back when I was recording secretary. What you're not getting is we're asking, when was it removed? That's a simple question.
Can I add something here? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Harry.
If I recall,
You don't want to answer.
Jesse, Harry's going to answer the question. Can you let him answer it?
Go ahead.
they wanted to submit,
Can he speak up because he cannot be heard?
and they didn't approve another sewer service map in 2018 until some of those ESAs that they felt at the time the council felt were removed. So you have to look at the 2018, I think would be in those minutes, what the council approved to be sent down. Again, I'm going by memory, so you would have to check the minutes. But I know there was a lot of discussion and a lot of debate about increasing the sewer service area, including what's all the mountains and the state property and Mountain Creek. The DEP said, we're never going to accept that. So they went back and they redrew the map. And that happened, but everything would have to be checked because I'm totally unprepared. I didn't look at those minutes for this discussion. So that's where you can find your answer.
Okay, so then that would be the answer, that in 2018, it was changed, and we'll have to go back and we'll have to look for the minutes. That's what we've been asking all night. Well, not all night, but you know what I mean. That's what I've been asking.
Well, there you go. Harry gave you the answer, Jesse. I didn't know the answer. Harry did.
In 2000.
But memory, so I may be off a year or so. Like I said, it was 3 years ago, but there was a lot of debate at council meetings about that, if I recall.
Okay, we'll have to look at the minutes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right.
Anybody else?
I see nobody else.
Okay, I'm entertaining a motion to close the public.
Motion to close to public?
Second it.
Motion by Andy Pittsburgh, seconded by Dave McDermott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, let's go commissioners' comments. We're going to start with Dave McDermott. Go ahead, Dave.
I don't have any comments tonight. I think we're going along as best we can. Hopefully, we get past this DEP issue and we'll move forward.
Good. Thank you, Dave. Mr. Pittsburgh.
For the guys out there, Howie and your crew, I really want to say with this last few weeks with the weather we've had and everybody packed in, you're doing a great job of keeping the system up and running. I know the Muffin Monster we're waiting to get it installed. So the initiatives and innovation that you're bringing to this to keep it there, pass that along to the guys, Howie. I do appreciate it. And keep up the good work. That's all for me.
Good. Kristen Wiegen?
Thank you, Mike. I have no comments this evening.
Good. Mr. Shoreway?
Just food for thought based on our discussions on Pump House 2 and expansion of the source service area. I don't know if it's legal, and I don't know how it would work financially without studies. But I've spoken about this over the last few years a few times, where what would happen if we pass an ordinance on the township side, similar to West Milford, where your septic systems have to be cleaned every 3 to 5 years, whatever it's ever environmentally sane to do, It's healthy for the septic systems. We will put out an RFP for a vendor to pump people's tanks, and the savings that they could make if they were able to transfer it into pump house 2. Some of that savings they would save because they wouldn't have to transport it to other areas, and then they would have kind of like a franchise in the township. We put it out to bid, so some of the savings would go to the homeowner, some of the savings would be realized by the vendor. I know there's some problems with it because I think the 2005 agreement states something to the fact they can only accept wastewater from whatever's inside the sewer service area. Now, we would have to negotiate with SCUMA with that. We've had some brief discussions probably 3 years ago with them, but this would definitely increase our EDUs. It would give a benefit to our homeowners, and it would also benefit the current rate users. Again, you'd have to do a financial study, if it's possible. What are the legalities of it? Is it possible by engineering? In essence, you'd be putting everybody in the township on the sewer system. It's just that the septic system company that's cleaning the septic systems, they would be the medium to transfer instead of pipes. So if everybody could save money on this and we could generate more EDUs, I think it would be a good thing. I realize it's really a preliminary idea, although I've been mentioning it 2 or 3 years. We would need the financial impact studies, environmental impact studies, and what the engineers feel, and of course, Rich, what the legalities are, and in discussion with school. So again, when we're talking about expanding or replacing pump house 2, I think it was supposed to be replaced in 2008, and then with the 2012 agreement, it's supposed to be replaced by July 2013. It still exists. So we need to go forward with this. I mean, how much longer are we going to wait? We've spoken about it for a number of years now. We need to go forward, and I'm glad everybody feels the same way. Now, let's hurry up and get this pump house done before it completely shuts down. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Harry. Just to further, along with Harry is saying about the ordinance, I actually proposed that to the land use board about 10 years ago. It wasn't well received by the land use board for various reasons. But the one thing along that same comment, this is why we have to get a definitive answer on the transfer station. So if we have a definitive answer on the transfer station, then we can follow up with a potential ordinance to make it mandatory to pump septics every 3 to 5 years. And Harry is right. West Milford has that ordinance, and a lot of other lake communities have that. And the purpose of doing that is to protect lakes. And there's a positive environmental benefit from making it mandatory to pump septics at a certain interval. So I do agree with that. Along some additional comments, I'm glad that we're moving ahead. The issue addressing the issues with SCUMA. We're pretty happy with that. We're just waiting to hear back an answer from SCUMA, and I think we all feel strongly about the fact that we want to keep on pursuing that. So we're going to keep on moving along with that whole process. Other than that, I have no other comments. I'm going to entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss some legal and personnel matters, Resolution 21-21. So I entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters.
And I'll second that.
So motion by Harry Shortway, seconded by Andy Pitts.